morning, everyone. I'm very honored to be here today, and really excited to hopefully meet you guys after the event as well. So thank you very much for having me, and thank you for a very nice introduction, by the way. Thank you. Sorry, I'm trying to get used to this. So it's ironic that I'm standing here today to speak about networking and networks, because some years ago, I won't say how long ago because I don't want to give away my age, but I was doing my youth service and I met a very lovely young lady who came from completely different background from me in terms of culture, in terms of upbringing, education, everything. But our paths crossed, and we forged a very, very brilliant relationship. We stayed in touch over the years. And she recently reached out to me and said, Aisha, come to Nile University and do this thing. So today I'm here because of the power of networking. So today I want to talk about networking, the neglected item in your toolbox. Initially, I wanted to name it Good Grades Are Not Enough, but I was told that that might be not a good thing for university students because you guys might fail and say, Aisha said, you don't need good grades. But my point is, in order to succeed, there's a whole toolbox and things, and networking is one of the most important things that is needed. Let's start with, what is networking? I'm sure we actually all know this because every day we network whether we choose to or not. But I think it's worth just reminding ourselves what it really truly means and also how we can use it best in order to advance in our lives and in our careers. Networking is really about forming relationships, about making genuine connections with people. And it's very important to take networking as something, when you're part of a network, it's not about you just being a beneficiary. It's also seeing yourself as someone who gives as well. So you also have to contribute to your network. You don't just receive from the network. And it's important to also know that networking is not just transactional. People assume networking means you come and meet someone, you ask them for something because you want something in return. But really, it's not. It's really about forming relationships. I hope I get this right now. So let's talk a little bit about real-world success stories of networking. But to begin with, networking starts from you. It starts from your family. It starts from your friends. I'm sure some of us in this room come from polygamous families, so and others come where it's just two people. So the people with the bigger families are already at a bigger advantage because they already know more people. So your network already starts with just your surroundings, your family and friends. It's not this belief that you have to go into the wilderness and try and form a network, or how do I know this person, how do I know that person? It starts from within. And for you guys at Nile University, this is your network. The people that you go to school with, the people in your lectures, the people in your various clubs that you may be a part of, that is the beginning of your network. Secondary school is what secondary school is, but this is the beginning, because it's at this stage that you start thinking about your careers, and the people who are in your life right now most likely are going to be the ones that will play a role in your advancing your career. And I'll give you some examples. Of the 57 prime ministers that they've had in the United Kingdom, do you know that 30 of them all attended the same university? In fact, over the last 16 years, all the prime ministers they've had in the UK all attended University of Oxford, except for one, Gordon Brown. I'm sure he went to an equally good university as well. And of that 57, 20 of them all attended the same secondary school, Eton College in the UK. So it goes to show you that your networks really start from school. I'm not saying they all knew each other at the time in school, because obviously they're all of different ages, but the whole point is they were part of a network, they were part of an alumni, and this is where it took them. Even in Nigeria, you hear about it. I don't know whether your parents, some of them maybe went to like King's College in Lagos, you hear about, the KC boys. It's like a cult. Automatically you come, you're looking for a job, and they say, this guy went to King's College, or this guy went to ABU. I think I remember this name. And that is enough to get you in the door. So this is the point where you need to start forming those networks. Don't just stick to the people in your class or just your friendship groups. That weird guy in your lecture room that nobody talks to, he's probably going to end up being CBN governor one day. So open up your minds, really. Thank you. So these are just some interesting statistics that I picked up from the internet that kind of support what I just spoke about, your networks. So 85%, according to some study, of jobs are filled through networking referrals. So someone would refer somebody or say, Halima's good at this, I think you should, take her on, or this person has just graduated with the first, I think she'll fit nicely in your organization. So it's 85%. This is worldwide, by the way, not just Nigeria. And then 75% of jobs are not actually advertised. A lot of the times they don't advertise jobs publicly. Maybe they'll tell within the organization, and then it's people from within that will now let certain people know or say, they're hiring in my organization, bring your CV. But if you don't have that network, then, there's no one that's even going to think about you to bring your CV. And then sometimes if somebody really, really likes you, they actually create a role that didn't used to exist before in order for you to be filled in. And then lastly, as you know, during COVID, people stopped having face-to-face meetings. It was mainly basically virtual meetings, etc. But in a study that was done by Forbes, it was found that 77% of people actually prefer face-to-face meetings because it allows them to form stronger relationships and expand their networks. Has anyone heard of this 6 degrees of separation concept? No? Have anyone watched the movie? You guys are too young for the movie. Anyway, so 6 degrees of separation is an interesting concept that's been around since 1929, and anything that you know has existed for this many years means it's true. Basically, what it means is any person, each one of you in this room, are only 6 people or less connected to any other person in the world. Just to show you how small the world really is and how networking is really important. So I have an example. Assuming now you want to meet let's say the President of the United States, right? You're person number 1. I'm sure you're all thinking, how the hell am I supposed to meet the President of the United States? I'll tell you how. So, first of all, assuming you have a next door neighbor, right? Or someone in your class, their father works at, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and they have a relationship with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So you tell that friend, they tell their father. That's 3 people already. The father reaches out to the ambassador of Nigeria in the United States and says, Halima wants to meet the president. The ambassador of the United States says, okay, let me speak to the US Foreign Secretary. They tell them, there's a Halima at NIleUniversity that wants to meet the president. Foreign Secretary informs the Chief of Staff, and they inform the President. Halima from NIleUniversity wants to. That's 6 people, and you've already reached the President, only because your next-door neighbor works at the Ministry of Finance. I'm not saying it will happen, of course, but my point is, can you see how it can happen? Anything is possible. It can happen. So that's how small the world really is. Overcoming networking fears. Now, I know all of us, everybody, myself included, networking is a very, very daunting and quite a scary thing to do. And usually people feel like, oh, what if I'm rejected? And, it's just an uncomfortable feeling. And really what we know is anything that is uncomfortable in life really is an area of growth. That's why, you hear the saying, growing pains. Anything that you find uncomfortable is really correlated with growth. So don't be worried about how uncomfortable networking is for you. All you need to do is, at all times, engage people with politeness and with respect, and also receive people. Don't forget, I need to keep emphasizing, networking is not a one-way thing. It's a multi-way traffic. It's not about what I can get from somebody else. It's how I can also contribute to the network, right? So that discomfort is there. And then there's the fear of rejection, which we all have. Is this person going to basically outright reject me? I'd have to do the walk of shame. Are they going to say no? Am I going to look like a social climber? Will I seem like an opportunist? These are all thoughts that run through our mind, but when your intentions are pure, it's fine. And like I said, it may be uncomfortable, but it doesn't mean it's bad. I'll tell you, there's something that answers that, which is when you think to yourself, you see a networking opportunity and you're like, let me not seem like a social climber. But what you need to tell yourself is, as long as your intentions are pure and you're polite about it, there's something my father would always say, which is, you can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. And I'll tell you a short story. My best friend when we were in school, very smart girl. She would, we were all probably around you guys' age. It was time, actually, sorry, not you guys are at university. We were applying for universities at the time. And she was one of the smartest people in the school. And she had a conversation with my dad. And he said, oh, where are you applying? What do you want to study? She said, I want to study medicine. These are the universities I want to apply to. And then at the end, she said, I would love to go to Oxford, but I know I won't get in, so I'm not applying. And he basically, with a straight face, he said to her, oh, no, 100% you will not get in. And of course, that wasn't the response she was expecting. He said, you definitely won't get in. He said, I've never heard of anyone that got into university without applying. And that was the only thing she needed to hear to go and put in that application last minute. And as we're speaking today, she's a doctor who graduated from the University of Oxford. So she overcame her fear. And if you don't try, you really will not get it. And these things, these fears that we have, these areas of discomfort, I have another short story to tell you. The bottom line is, like I said, your intentions are pure. It will never, ever kill you. What's that song? If it doesn't make you, it doesn't break you, it doesn't something. My point is, you will not die. There was an opportunity for me to meet someone quite senior. I needed something from him that I had been told he could help. I needed his advice and also an introduction. So I went to meet this person after praying and sweating, and I'd planned everything I was going to say. And I went and sat right in front of him. This guy was not smiling at all. Oh, he was looking at me almost like, so what are you here for? I completely forgot everything that I wanted to say. So I was going round and round, and my anxiety kicked in and my fear kicked in and I just felt it was an automatic rejection from him. This was very recent, by the way, true story. It was like a couple of weeks back. And I sat down. After going round and round, I eventually, landed somewhere. And the pain and the discomfort and the anxiety that was going through me in this exercise that I was doing, which was trying to expand my network through this man, suddenly I started, tears were pouring out my eyes. And I was crying, but I was speaking with so much confidence. So luckily for me, I always have eye drops in my bag. So I got out my eye drops and I said to him, oh, sorry, excuse me, I have eye infection and my eyes are dry. So I put the eye drops in my eyes. So it now looked like I was crying because of the eye drops, but really I was just dying on the inside, so much so that it came out as tears. And I saw he was like, oh, no, what's wrong, blah, blah, blah. He was even telling me, try these eye drops, it's better. And I was thinking, oh, God, my eyes are fine. I just don't want you to know I'm crying. So, we did all that. I put it away. It was a great meeting. I got so much more than I even intended out of it. And he left. I had met him in a cafe at a hotel. And I was about to leave. And then suddenly I felt like throwing up. So I had to go back to reception. Where's your bathroom? And I went and, excuse me, this is disgusting, but I threw up everywhere in the toilet. So it was an uncomfortable feeling. I didn't like it. Would I do it again? Yes. Because I got way more out of the conversation with him than I even intended to begin with. So it's about overcoming. Networking etiquette. I think I touched on this a little bit earlier. The reason why networking isn't just transactional, the way people assume, or opportunist or everything, because just like everything in life, there's etiquette around it, there's rules around it, there's a right way to network. People often will just maybe walk up, particularly in the setting of Nigeria. You go somewhere, you see a big person, you come like, okay, please, can I have your number? Why? That is so invasive. Why would you ask for his number? If you're really interested in this person or you feel this person can help you, you've done your homework, you come, oh, excuse me, sir, I've been following your career for a while. I'm interested I myself have been working on this. I would love to be a part of your program, or one day I would love to work for you. Allow him to be the person to say, take my number, or call me, or here's my PA, please take his number. Let it be a genuine connection. But you just come up to him, you have no reason, just because he's a big man and you just want to go home and be like, I got this person's number, or I went to a TED Talk. I met Toke Makiwa, and I said, can I have your number, for no reason, which I will, by the way. Things like that. So there's etiquette around it, and that respect, that polite, no matter, you don't have to think about a perceived social class. Networking is in all directions. Think about like a web. It goes everywhere. So you network up, you network down, left, right, everywhere, because you just don't know where the next opportunity is going to come from. Another short story. There's a lady that I work with, as the MC very kindly said, I do work in a very highly reputable organization that many people wish to work in. I know that. She was a couple of years ago, she was in a taxi here in Nigeria. And having a conversation with the taxi driver, at some point it came up that she was job hunting. And he said to her, that he works in one organization. He thinks they're consultants and they give big organizations, they feed big organizations staff and support staff. He doesn't mind, he can take her CV and give it to them. And she was like, okay. To cut a really long story short, she now works in my organization because of some cab driver that she met a couple of years ago. So you network in all directions. And also when you're actually polite with people, when you are reasonable in the way you talk to people, receive people, engage people, it actually basically forces them to bring down their barriers, and they would want to help you. And not just want to help you, they also want to be part of your network. They also want to meet you. So it's in all directions. Actually, before I go, the power of giving, I wanted to re-emphasize on that, in that networking is not about just receiving. It's what you can add to your network. You also want to be that guy or that girl that people would call and be like, oh, please, do you know this? Or can I have this? It could even be you're that person that people think that you're a good listener. But my point is you have to contribute to that network. And that is how your network expands. You also have to be valuable. You cannot just be what's the word? You can't just be benefiting to the network, from the network rather. Okay, just a couple of famous quotes that I found that I think captures the essence of networking. But there's one in particular that I really like, the top right. Most of them are from unknown sources, which says, networking is not collecting contacts. Networking is about planting relationships. I think that kind of covers everything I was trying to say earlier. So if you approach things in that, I'm trying to gain genuine connections, form long-lasting relationships, get people to like me, how am I valuable to people, and things like that. That is what creating your network is. Like I said at the beginning, you can literally be an A student. I'm sure you people have heard of like, what happened to him? He was so smart in school. He didn't have a network. He wasn't kind. People didn't feel drawn to him. He wasn't contributing in other ways, because guess what? Anybody can get straight A's. But once you work on who you are and build that network and expand, and your network has to be diverse. Like I said, it can't just be the people in your dorm. It can't be the people in your class. It has to be any and everybody, anywhere in the world. I'm sure some of you will probably go into higher education from here. Some might even go abroad. Don't be that person that goes to a university in another country and you're only friends with the people that you left Nigeria with. Be friends with everybody and let it be genuine connections, not because you need something from them. So my call to action for you guys, next slide, which will be my last slide, is basically start that networking today. Try and talk to someone that you ordinarily don't speak to. Networking doesn't mean going to an event with a whole bunch of people and make sure you get any numbers or discuss. No, networking can be one person. You can just reach out to one person. Let's have lunch. You guys have social media. You have networking at the tip of your fingers, basically. If someone is in your social network, it's their birthday. Happy birthday, so-and-so. Like those kinds of things, it's just kind. And what you're doing is, networking is not a short-term thing, it's a long-term thing. A lot of people in my network have been people that have been in my life for a very, very long time. Even as I'm speaking to you, I'm standing here today. I wasn't even going to have slides. Someone very dear to me said, I heard do you want me to prepare slides? I'm good. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how to do PowerPoint, so please. And she came up with all of this, it wasn't me. And that's someone in my network, and that was her gift. And she reached out and said, I can do this. And today I'm benefiting from it. And what's going to happen tomorrow? I meet someone, they're doing something, and I'm like, I have someone who's brilliant with presentation. I will then put them in touch with her. And before you know it, her network is wide. Before you know it, she's doing things for, worldwide organizations. So that's how it starts. So please, all of you, just make sure from today, speak to someone you don't ordinarily speak to. Reach out to people. When people approach you, accept them with grace and go out to lunch, dinner. If anybody is interesting to you and you like what they do, reach out to them and be like, I really like this thing that you're doing. I'm interested. I want to learn more about it. Or how can I be like you? What were the steps you took? Don't just come and be like, I really like you. I want to be like you. You have to have substance. So think about what you really want and who you want in your network and how you're going to form that network. So thank you very much. And thanks. Of course, I can't leave the stage without saying this, because, so thanks for coming to my TED Talk.